everyone, happy New Zealand Celiac Awareness Week. It's Morgan here from To Coeliac, and today we're talking about the top 8 celiac disease myths and why they exist. Let's jump into it. Myth number 1. Celiac disease is only diagnosed in children. Well, that's clearly not true, as I was diagnosed at 22 years old. I have a friend who's 27 who's just been diagnosed this week. The average age of diagnosis is between 40 and 60 years old. Now, there might be a reason why this myth exists. Celiac disease can look different in adults and children. On top of the normal symptoms that adults get, like bloating, diarrhea, and constipation, children can also get failure to thrive, short stature, delayed puberty, trouble gaining weight, and vomiting. Even though it may look different in children and adults, you can get diagnosed at any age. Myth number 2. Celiac disease is an allergy. No, it is not. It is an autoimmune disease. An autoimmune disease is when your body's natural defense system can no longer tell the difference between normal cells and foreign cells, which causes the immune system to mistakenly attack the normal cells. Other examples of autoimmune disorders include lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and type 1 diabetes. However, because celiac disease directly relates to wheat consumption, people often mistake it as an allergy. Myth number 3. You can get glutened off grain-fed meat. Now, I can kind of see why this myth exists. I can kind of see the reasoning behind it. Luckily, that is not the case. When a cow or sheep or a duck eats gluten-containing grains, it actually breaks down the gluten protein and turns it into animal protein, so it no longer affects celiacs. However, you will see some meats being labelled gluten-free. Now, this could be one of 2 reasons. The first is that there is a marinade on it, and they want to let you know that that marinade is gluten-free, doesn't contain anything like soy sauce. The second reason could be that they're trying to charge a little bit more by labelling it gluten-free. Myth number 4. You can burn off gluten at high heats. This one has a tiny little, incy little bit of truth to it. However, the temperatures that you would have to reach to burn off the gluten would effectively turn the food into charcoal. When you hear this myth, it's usually in reference to deep fryers and people frying gluten-containing items and gluten-free containing items in the same fryer. Standard hospitality deep fryers will never be set at a temperature that is high enough to burn off the gluten. If they did, it would probably ruin their business, because no one would want to eat there, because their food would literally be charcoal. Number 5, you can cure celiac disease / celiac disease can go away. No matter how many times you hear someone anecdote that their cousin's friend or someone that Auntie Sharon works with got rid of their celiac disease, it cannot be done. Celiac disease is a lifelong condition that can only be treated with a gluten-free diet. Now, the reason that this exists is because doctors actually did think that you could cure celiac disease with a short-term gluten-free diet, or that children could grow out of it. However, with the development of science and being able to literally see inside people's stomachs, we know that this is no longer the case. Another point of confusion that I've noticed recently is that when celiacs go get their annual blood test to check if there are any antibodies present from gluten contamination, if they have effectively kept gluten out of their diet, their numbers should come back as very low or even no antibodies. This can sometimes be presented as a number. However, in some cases I've heard of it being presented as no celiac disease detected, which is a confusing statement because you do still have celiac disease. It's just that your blood no longer looks like you do. But that's just because you've stopped eating gluten. Number 6, celiacs can eat sourdough bread. No, they can't. There is, of course, gluten-free sourdough bread, but normal wheat-based sourdough bread is not suitable for celiacs. So where does this myth come from? We can look to our gluten-sensitive friends for this one. In some cases, people with gluten sensitivity can tolerate sourdough bread. Apparently, the fermentation process that gives sourdough bread the distinctive sour taste actually makes it a lot more gut-friendly. In fact, sometimes sourdough is considered low gluten. My favourite term. I hope you can hear the sarcasm. But it's not the gluten-sensitive people's fault. If they can tolerate it, all power to them. Unfortunately, it's the people on the outside that don't understand that celiac disease and gluten sensitivity are different things. Myth number 7. Celiac disease is a new allergy. Put your hand up if you've ever heard, celiac disease? Back in my day, they never had anything like that. We ate what our mother put on our plate with no complaints. Yes, I know, Kevin, and people also had shorter life expectancies. Celiac disease has actually been around for a very long time. The first medical description of it was in 50 AD in Greece. Arrhetius of Cappadocia, a physician and writer, was actually the first person to clinically give celiac disease its name. He named it Coeliacos, after colia, or abdomen in Greek. I think that's how you say it. And he described it as thus: if the stomach be irretentive of the food, and if it pass through undigested and crude, and if nothing ascends to the body, we shall call such persons celiacs. It's a nice rhyme to it. However, it wasn't until the 1940s when Dr. William Dick actually theorized that it was wheat that was doing the damage to celiacs, and developed a wheat-free diet to treat people with it. So it has been around for ages. It might seem like more and more people are getting diagnosed with it in today's day and age. However, we can kind of attribute that to the amount of work that celiac foundations around the globe have put into raising awareness. Myth number 8. A crumb won't hurt. Yes. Yes, it will. As I've found out many times through cross-contamination, a very small amount of gluten will do a lot of damage to a celiac. I left this one till last because it's probably my least favourite and most annoying to hear. It's probably why celiacs are more inclined to tell wait staff that they've got a gluten allergy rather than celiac disease, just so people take them seriously. But yes, unfortunately a very small amount of gluten will harm a celiac. And if anyone else is saying otherwise, hand them this part of the video. Alright, I've heard you've been saying a crumb won't hurt to a celiac. Look, celiac disease and gluten intolerance are different things. The very smallest, tiniest amount of gluten will harm a celiac. So stop saying that. It's very annoying to hear. You've now been educated. Thank you so much for watching, by the way. Anyway, that is my top 8 celiac disease myths. If you have any other ones, chuck them in the comments below and we can make a part 2. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. And if you're in New Zealand, happy Celiac Awareness Week. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.